voices. Caroline, respond to the notion that potentially the Catholic Church was being blamed for this medical advice.
I think it's baffling, actually, because, the Catholic Church's ban, for want of a better word, I guess it's the Catholic Church's teaching on contraception, has absolutely nothing to do with how any particular method of contraception is administered, and all to do with, a philosophical or theological principle about the purpose and meaning of sex. And therefore, I find it horrific that a medical professional could effectively want to lie and mislead women in order to get the approval of a religion. And, whatever the Catholic Church is teaching on contraception, it doesn't extend to telling lies to women. I mean, if you are going to take a dose of contraceptive hormones, it's a big dose of artificial hormones, then you have an absolute right to know what you are taking, the effect that it has on your body, so that you can consent. And so if you're not being given the correct advice, then how can you consent? And Dr. Philippa talked about Judeo-Christian ethics, and one of those is about lying. And effectively, when you don't give women the whole truth about the medication that they're taking, then you're lying to them and they can't consent properly. So from that perspective, I find it absolutely horrific, and I think it is a real breach of medical ethics. And actually, I don't like to come over all feminist, but, one male doctor trying to conspire with a male religious leader to withhold information from women that they need, it does sound very sort of paternalistic and patriarchal, and absolutely unacceptable.
I mean, it's interesting that you say that, but I suppose some people might say that wasn't the case at all. That, okay, this story has emerged this week, lots of people have been talking about it, but the reality is at the time, the pill itself would have been under intense scrutiny. So whether or not it was done as a panacea, if you like, to the Pope or to those religious beliefs, in effect, it was done as a way of also enabling women to be able to take the pill.
But women who want to take the pill, the fact whether or not they have, they take it back to back or they have a breakthrough bleed, which is, as a doctor says, often quite psychological, isn't it? I think a lot of it is about not being, having the mindset that you're not taking this all the time, and, there's still quite a stigma about pill popping. But, you shouldn't, if you want to take something, then you just should know all the information about it. You shouldn't be told a lie about something in order to that you can take it in order to persuade you. That's not healthcare. Healthcare should be a two-way process where, you are informed and you make your own informed decision.
Sure.
You shouldn't have to be lied to in order to take it. And interestingly as well, when it comes to the contraceptive pill itself, I'm not talking about contraception per se, there are quite a few feminists now. Somebody has written a book, Holly Grieg-Spall, called Sweetening the Pill, because there is quite a lot of evidence emerging, that the contraceptive pill doesn't suit everybody, and artificial or synthetic hormones don't suit everybody. And a lot of women are, beginning to testify that actually being on the contraceptive pill was not a good thing for them and their health.
All right, but I want to stick with the religious angle of it. Can you give me, in quite succinctly, the Catholic Church's position on contraception right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Catholic Church teaches that sex has two purposes. Put simply, it's for bonding and for babies. So that doesn't mean that every time you have sex, you must be trying for a baby or you must have a baby, but that you shouldn't split out the sort of procreative parts, the procreative.
So essentially, am I understanding that basically any contraception is still considered null and void in the Catholic Church?
Yeah, using contraception is against Catholic teaching. Yes, and you shouldn't do it. Okay. Yes, it puts you, to use a very serious phrase, it does put you in a state of mortal sin. But that's only if you know the teaching and you deliberately flout it. Okay. And that is because of what Catholics believe is the reason why God gave us sex,
Sure.
to enjoy bonding and to enjoy babies. But, we also believe that we are given a period, we're fertile. If you think about when we're fertile, it's only for about 24 to 48 hours every month. So we are given a huge other period that we can enjoy sex.
Okay.
And women are encouraged to find out about their own fertility in order that we can, maximise, our infertile period every month and enjoy
Caroline,
it.
I'm going to have to leave it there, but thank you ever so much for joining us this morning. That's Caroline Farrow from Catholic Voices and Dr. Philippa Kay reflecting on this wrong medical advice for taking the pill for 60 years. Interestingly enough, I wonder whether you consider sex outside of marriage to be a mortal sin.